It is no coincidence that Isaac Newton is regarded as one of the greatest scientists in human history. Discoveries such as the law of universal gravitation, the three laws of motion, calculus, and many others laid the foundation for modern physics and mathematics. Beyond his groundbreaking achievements in science, Newton was also known as a wise philosopher and a reformer who made significant contributions to the English monetary system in the 17th century. Albert Einstein, the genius of modern physics, called Newton a deep and solitary intellect. The renowned astronomer Neil deGrasse Tyson affirmed that Newton was the most complete scientist in history. So, what made Newton such a towering figure? Join Spy Room and author Too High as we explore the life and extraordinary legacy of this man in the following video. A lonely childhood and a unique personality. To describe Isaac Newton's childhood, no words are more fitting than small and lonely. He was born in 1642 in Woolsthorpe, England, under extremely difficult conditions. Premature and so weak that no one thought he would survive. His father died before he was born, and his mother remarried soon after, leaving Newton to be raised by his grandmother. Despite lacking affection, Newton grew up healthy, without serious illness. He didn't begin schooling until age 12, much later than his peers. The education environment was harsh, with daily corporal punishment, even for children of the nobility. This difficult childhood, devoid of love, shaped Newton into a quiet, withdrawn person who distanced himself from society. This trait stayed with him his entire life. As a child, Newton loved creating toys and mechanical models, like a mouse-powered mill, a water clock, and a sundial. Once, he scared the entire village, who thought a ghost had appeared, but it was just a kite Newton made for fun. Every coin he had was spent on tools like hammers, saws, and chisels. As a result, he developed excellent hands-on skills and a creative mindset from a young age. Initially, Newton's academic performance was only average or even poor. His small frame made him an easy target for bullies. But driven by pride, he resolved to rise above them using intelligence, eventually becoming the top student. It was the first time he chose knowledge over violence to defend himself. At age 15, Newton graduated from secondary school and returned home. His mother, now widowed for the second time, wanted him to go into trade to help support the family. But Newton had no interest in commerce. Once, he was sent to sell goods at the Grantham market, but he handed off the task to a servant and went to a pharmacist's house to read and solve math problems. He was so passionate about math that he could sit for hours immersed in numbers and formulas. Fortunately, his uncle and former teacher, Henry Stokes, recognized his extraordinary talent early on. They convinced his mother to let him continue his education, a decision that became a crucial turning point in Newton's life. On June 5, 1661, at age 17, Newton passed the entrance exam to Trinity College, Cambridge. There, he progressed from student to fellow and eventually became a professor at age 27. Cambridge became the cradle of talent that helped Newton shine, ushering in an era of scientific breakthroughs. 234. Newton's great scientific achievements. Newton wasn't the first to propose new laws of nature, but he was the first to systematically develop theories in an unprecedented way, creating revolutionary scientific advances. 245. Inventing new mathematical methods. During Newton's time, mathematics wasn't advanced enough to describe complex motions. Through talent and perseverance, he invented differential and integral calculus. Differential calculus calculates rates of change, such as instantaneous velocity, population growth, temperature shifts, profits, and more. Integral calculus measures area under curves or cumulative changes over time. These tools allowed Newton to describe planetary motion, predict object trajectories and lay the foundation for modern fields like physics, engineering, finance, and AI. Anyone studying STEM knows how difficult these formulas are. 252. Building a scientific system. Before Newton, science largely described phenomena without coherent systems. He revolutionized it through solid theories and systematic formulas. His laws are so precise that NASA still uses them to calculate spacecraft trajectories. Even Einstein admitted Newton laid an irreplaceable foundation for modern science. His three laws of motion, inertia, dynamics, and action-reaction, explained the motion of earthly objects and became foundational to astronomy, engineering, and science. 2533. The Law of Universal Gravitation. Legend has it that Newton got the idea for gravity when he saw an apple fall. He wondered, why did it fall downward, not sideways or upward? After pondering for days, he realized the phenomenon was gravity, not only pulling objects down, but also keeping the moon in orbit around Earth and planets around the sun. This law laid the groundwork for modern astronomy and opened the path to satellites and space exploration. 26. Optics and light. Newton was the first to build a reflecting telescope using curved mirrors instead of lenses to focus light. This made telescopes more compact and reduced image distortion. He also proved that white light is composed of many colors, not a single hue, as previously believed. 230. In addition to his famous laws, Newton authored massive works like Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy, Optics, and many. 0655. Why is Newton considered the greatest scientist? Even judging solely by his scientific work, Newton was a phenomenal genius. But what made him truly great was his mastery in many fields: mathematics, physics, philosophy, astronomy, politics, and economics. His brilliance becomes even more remarkable when seen in historical context. In Newton's era, England was undergoing major change. The bourgeois revolution was forming. A fragmented island nation was becoming a maritime power, and the bourgeoisie and intellectuals were rising over feudalism. This transformation allowed minds like Newton's to shine and define the era. 0729. In the book Newton, The Man and His Discoveries, the author emphasized that to understand Newton's personality and talent, one must understand the historical background. Many aspects of his biography and character can't be grasped without considering his time. 0757. Newton's wisdom also showed in a letter to a young man named Aston, who planned to travel abroad. Newton advised him to observe the customs, arts, commerce, politics, and tax systems of other countries. This was practical, forward-thinking advice, rare among scientists then. 0827. Newton also left his mark in monetary reform. At the time, England still used 14th century minting methods, cutting metal by hand and hammering designs, making counterfeiting easy. Even after switching to horse-powered presses, counterfeiting remained rampant, disrupting the economy. Assigned to reform the system, Newton, in just 2 years, devised a new minting process that produced accurate, hard-to-fake coins. This stabilized the economy and boosted trade. Yet it earned him enemies. Some tried to bribe or even assassinate him. But Newton stayed steadfast in his ideals and focused on what he saw as his life's mission: scientific research. 0924. Additionally, Newton was deeply passionate about alchemy. Living alone, he spent many sleepless nights studying secret formulas and experimenting with chemicals. He firmly believed in the philosopher's stone, a mythical item that could turn metal into gold and grant immortality. 0951. Though many dismissed it as superstition, Newton viewed it as a chance to understand the essence of matter and energy. His persistence in alchemy showed that he sought truth, not just in theory, but also in hands-on experimentation. even if shrouded in mystery. 1017. Despite his brilliance, Newton had flaws. He was famously cold, authoritarian, and unpopular. His teaching career at Cambridge was unsuccessful. His classes had only a few students. People realized he was passionate about research, not teaching. 1047. He was also perfectionistic and prone to conflict within the scientific community.